Good evening. Nice to see all of you. I hope you're having a good summer. I'm kind of excited. I'm about to turn 29 years old. I think that's very cool. I, however, don't feel that I look any older. I think I just look worse. Like when I'm walking down the street, I don't think people are like, hey, look at that man. I think they're like, whoa, that tall child looks terrible. Get some rest, tall child. You can't keep burning the candle at both ends. But you know, I was a child for years and years, and it was a lot of fun. It was very weird to be a kid because I was so young, and you know, some things made me nervous when I was a little kid, and they don't make me nervous at all anymore. Like, I always thought that quicksand was gonna be a much bigger problem than it turned out to be. You watch cartoons, and quicksand is like the third biggest thing you have to worry about, behind actual sticks of dynamite and giant anvils falling on you from the sky. I got older, not only have I never stepped in quicksand, I've never even heard about it. No one's ever been like, hey, if you're coming to visit me, take I-90, because I-95 has quicksand right now. You know, I hear all these stories about bullying, and I think it's terrible. The bullying that happens in school is really bad. I was bullied when I was a little kid. I was bullied when I was in school for being Asian American. The biggest problem with that is that I am not Asian American. But this is absolutely true. When I was a little kid, I looked like I might be Asian American. I have pretty thin eyes. I had very thin eyes when I was a kid, and I had straight black hair that I always wore in a bowl cut. And honestly, from the ages of 3 to 8, people thought that I might be a young Chinese person. And kids in school would bully me. They would call me a chink and a gook, which are two different nationalities. But that didn't seem to bother them at all. Those are really offensive words, by the way. I'm sorry to use them, but imagine how I felt, because I was getting called that and I wasn't even one of those. My family isn't the least bit Chinese. I mean, we take our shoes off when we come inside, but that's more of a carpeting thing than anything else. Here's how bad it got. When I was in 7th grade, we had this music appreciation class that we never appreciated. And they took us to hear classical music once at a symphony orchestra. So we're at the symphony orchestra, and in the middle of one of these classical pieces, they banged a big gong. And every time they banged the gong, all the kids sitting in front of me would stand up, turn to me, and bow like that. Which is some racist-ass bullshit, but also very well coordinated for a group of 13-year-olds. Those were some slurs. I do apologize for using those. Although, you can basically say whatever you want on television now. You can really say anything you want on TV. And if you don't believe me, you should watch a little show called Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Because they will say the grossest, sickest shit you've ever heard in your life. No, on Special Victims Unit, they can't say the F word. They can't say the F word. But people will walk around being like, looks like the victim had anal contusions. Yo, looks like the victim had semen and fecal matter in his ear canal. Those are two actual things I heard on Law and Order SVU at like 3 in the afternoon. Both spoken by Ice-T, by the way. Ice-T is a detective with the Special Victims Unit, Mr. Cop Killer. Ice-T has been with the SVU, about 11 years now, but he still treats every case like it's his first in terms of total confusion. Like, they'll be in the middle of an investigation and Ice-T will be like, you telling me this dude gets off on little girls with pigtails? It's like, yeah, Ice, he's a pedophile. You work in the sex crimes division. You're gonna have to get used to that. You know how on Law and Order they tie in current events to their episodes, like they try and weave in real news stories? So a couple years ago on SVU, they did an episode that was based on stories about sex addiction, because all these celebrities were coming out as sex addicts. So in the episode, there was a scene where the other detectives are trying to teach Ice-T what sex addiction is, and it takes a couple of minutes. And finally, Ice-T gets it, and they cut to him in this close-up, and he goes, oh, I get it. You mean like when someone drinks too much, or snorts cocaine, or bets the house on the ponies? I was like, yeah, you got it, man. And I was psyched that they understood and they could go on with the investigation, but I could have watched another 4 hours of Ice-T just naming examples. Just that shot of him, like, or like when someone smokes too many cigarettes, or like when someone shops too much with credit cards. Or like when someone plays too many scratchy lotteries. Or like when someone eats too much chocolate cake. And he would just keep talking, and it would slowly fade out and say created by Dick Wolf. Thanks very much. My name's John Mulaney. You're a lot of fun.
So I am divorced. Don't be sad. Divorce is just a legal term for no one has farted in my bed in 2 years.
Why would you get a facelift? Can't you look at other facelifts and realize they haven't worked all the bugs out yet?